All right. Sorry. I just smoked some weed. Jesus Christ. All right. Let's show you how to solder something. I have a wire. It has black and white. I have another wire that is white and it's bare, but it's a shield. It's the negative side. So obviously this is the positive. This is the white wire. Sorry, let me get a better pointer. Excuse me. This right here at the top is the white wire. That's the cosine or the sign. And then you have the bare wire here, which is called a shield. That's right here. That wire right here is straight through the entire conductor, this jacket here. I'm sorry, insulator. And then there's a piece of foil that's wrapped around it, which is the shield. So that allows you to not have a noisy audio signal through this white wire. So what we're going to do... Excuse me, Jesus. Let's strip a little bit off. I did not make that wire bare. They do that on purpose when they make it. So the first thing I'm going to do is called tinning. Alright, tinning is just putting solder onto whatever you're trying to solder. You do that because it's easier for the solder to flow. So I'm going to touch this wire with the iron, which will then make it hot. And then the idea is that it'll melt on the wire, and then once it cools down and solidifies, it will then be a bond holding the two conductors together. Don't do this shit in your house. I'm doing it outside in the garage. It's all vented and shit. This is rosin core. You know, you don't want silver bearing solder. It doesn't work very well. So I just put it on there. After you've been doing it for a little while, you'll know when the solder has flowed. All right, and then I'm going to do the tip of this guy. This is the bare. You don't need to put it all over it. You just want to put it at the top. All right. Sweet. All right, cool. Now we got to do the other wire. This is the speaker side. The same fucking thing. Now, if there's too much and you get like a glob, you can kind of play with it, man. It's not gonna do anything to anything. You just don't want to get it down onto the black part here because it'll start melting the rubber. But for the shit that we do at home, it's not that big of a deal. I twist. Excuse me. And then there's some random shit that they put into it's to make it flex. So burn that off before you solder it. You're supposed to. Alright. So like I said, I'm not trying to completely coat it right now. I just want to get it around the top so all of the strands will stay together. Now, you use shrink wrap. You need 3 pieces for a 2-wire job. I just cut it in half. Obviously you have to put it on before you solder it, otherwise you can't put it on. Don't use electrical tape when making electrical connections like this. They always fail. Especially if they're outside. You always solder shit. Especially if it's like sensitive stuff like audio equipment. So I'm just sliding the conductor onto there. Alright, I'm going to do the black wires first. So black is negative. Now there's a few different places that do different things at this point, you know, with how they want to put it. I like doing the NASA thing. It had the best reason. You do the top, you bend it backwards and create like a U shape. Like that. Then you bend this other soldered wire that we just soldered. Ooh, I almost forgot the other piece. That would have sucked. Sorry, I forgot the third piece of shrink wrap. I always do that. You want that to go over both conductors because that's going to kind of be like what people normally use as electrical tape. Once again, do not use electrical tape on electrical connections. They will oxidize and fail. So black to black. After this, I'm going to wrap this. Like, this part is all subjective. This is just how I made them, how I was taught to make them at work. So I wrap that around the center. So now what you end up with is like what is kind of reminiscent of a wire. Okay, take your iron. I have mine set to 645, I guess. I put it underneath. The other reason NASA does this, my favorite one, was that even in the case of a failure in a redundant system, so if there was a lot of heat that went through here because of something failing on the space shuttle, it would still be tied together. You know, there would still be a mechanical connection. Okay. Do the other one. This is like a lot harder when it's 3 in the fucking morning. That's it. So now, cleanup. which people suck at doing that at work. So you can use side cutters. I'm just getting the excess that is left over if this does not cover it. So I got a little bit left there. It won't matter, but it's the correct thing to do. You just want all of that covered. Just like that. Now this is going to be fine because this is how it is inside of the wire anyways. I just wanted it to be separated from the white so that you don't want them to touch each other. Now you can't do a continuity test after this on a speaker because there is such low, it's a speaker. It still has very, very low resistance. So it'll ring out as if you're touching. So you have to visually inspect these cables or check with your own meter. All right, now now you should have a speaker that works. Now I know the ohms on this one. I think it's a center speaker. It'll probably be 4 ohms. Going through the coil. Oh no, there's only one and it's not connected to the amplifier. I don't know what this would be. Oh right. There's no amplifier. There's an entire connection missing. So we are at 5 ohms, 6 ohms. That's good. That is not blown. So there you go, bud. Your speakers are fixed.